Hey guys, welcome to Takes from Obvious Bozos, episode 18. I'm Drew, and joining me, as always, the legendary social media guru himself, Zachary Blattery. Zach, how's it going? It's been a little while.
It has been a little while, but it doesn't feel like it's been a little while because nothing has happened since we
Nothing has
last
happened.
spoke.
Absolutely
So,
nothing has happened. I was it the only thing just Precious Chua was signed.
and Chuma Okiki on a exhibit.
Oh
2.
I can't wait. I can't wait to dive into that.
I'm so excited to just hyper-analyze his training camp highlights and maybe a preseason game or something. That'd be great.
But no, there's really nothing going on, just Olympic stuff pretty much. But before we get into all our takes, guys, of course we got to do our ads. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics, to baseball, to Formula One racing. That's right, guys. I want you guys to bet on that Formula One racing and those in Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, you did. I bet you guys didn't expect that. I knew one guy who does racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game is over, head over to our online casino and get in on the games of blackjack, poker, and whatever else you want to do, or unwind with our 150 slot games. Head to our website today and get in on the action. Use the promo code BLEAV, which is BLEAV, for your 50% free bet online credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here. And of course, can't forget ourselves at Strickland. We have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Strickland, where you can donate up to whatever, $6, $9, $12, $15, $50, $99, $1,000, whatever you want to do. But when you do one of these tiers, such as the $6 tier, you get to hear the full episode of Takes from Obvious Bozos. You get to hear the Friday Pod Strickland with, I believe that's with Prez and Schwinn, not Stacy. Stacy you get for free. Prez is behind a paywall. You also will get feature articles from Matthew Miranda. That's just through the Patreon. You will get our NFL show, I believe, for the $9 tier with Jeff and Con. So definitely check that out. Strictly NFL. And so much more. You'll get with it. You get to join the Discord where you get to submit takes for this show. That's right, guys. If you want to submit a take for the show, you have to join our Discord. So that means you have to go to patreon.com/Strickland, join the $6 tier. Or, of course, you can go to the strict.land and navigate your way to Patreon from there. So, Zach, it's been a while. There's really nothing been going on. So we've just been taking a hiatus. We're going to take even more of a hiatus pretty much after this until the season starts back up and there's actual, content and takes and things that are actually going to happen. But we do have some things we're going to go over. It's a couple things we've missed since our hiatus, and we'll go from there. Are you ready for the plethora of takes that we have?
I'm ready. And I also just want to warn the people, we'll be back to the bi-weekly locked in as soon as there is things happening.
Yeah, when there's actual, games and news and stuff going on in the NBA, we'll be back to our bi-weekly stuff. But summertime for us, this is our time to relax, decompress. And again, there's all the Pot Strickland episodes. There's, there's Schwinn's show if you join the Patreon. You know what I mean? Like, there's tons of content from us at the Strickland. You don't need to worry about missing on takes, but we are primarily an in-season show because that's when the good takes happen, right? Like, that's when the good stuff happens. Not during the summer. The summer we don't have any takes that good, but we do have some good ones right now. First one is from Comrade. You guys took so long of a hiatus because you're afraid of the smoke.
No, we actually just explained it. But
we just explained it. We're not avoiding smoke. Did we have any takes that aged badly that we're avoiding? Not that I'm.
No, I even I did a scan. I scrolled back in the history, the logs of our channel, and there was nothing that aged poorly or things that we missed. They were all timeless classics. So
we all timeless classics.
Smoke. Yeah. So
yeah, if we were, the whole point of the show is to avoid ducking smoke, right? The whole point is if we say something bad, it's going to be highlighted and be like, that's innaturable, and would be like, yeah. It's natural. But no, we're not ducking smoke, unfortunately. So that is a bad take. Right. Bad take. Mikey Cook says, for all the shit the Knicks got for trading for Mikal, traded 5 first-round picks for a guy that's never made an all-star team. But Mikal Bridges will make his first all-star with Brunson and Randall. Ooh, Mikey has
Dude,
the
this
Knicks
is hot. Yeah.
having 3 all-stars. That's a hot take. I don't think that's happening.
I don't think it's happening. You just like, even if they do like produce all-star level seasons, it's just really, really hard to get 3 all-stars on a team. Like how many times has that ever happened?
I don't know off the top of my head. We're gonna have our statisticians look it up. The one time I do remember where there was like a lot was like that one Hawks team that went like 60 wins. Like that was it, and that was like
Kyle Korver was an all-star that year.
So. Yeah, and it's like, come on, we're not doing that again. That's
not a real
happening.
Thing. That wasn't real.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. If the Knicks go on a run, our fans going to be insane and vote a bunch of people potentially, but I don't see it. Like they were. Like Randall and Brunson were very good to start off the season last year, and Brunson barely made it. Right, like he had to get the coaches in. Like I don't see.
I'm gonna float a question to you. So
okay, go ahead.
Brunson is a lock probably, like unless he's injured or something, but he's a lock. So which of the other two, Randall and Bridges, more likely to get the second all-star spot if there is a second all-star on the Knicks? Because it could just be Brunson.
I think a more refined take to Mikey's would be Mikal gets the all-star bid over Julius. I think that is a hotter take that could actually come to fruition.
It could.
I think that would work because I think there would be some sort of weird like Villanova type thing where everyone's like, we got to vote the Nova guys in.
Yeah.
I could see that happening more than that. I would go with that as the hotter take. Randall is obviously the safer bet to make the all-star team, but I can also see this weird alternate reality where Bridges has remember his couple months when he first got traded to the Nets, and he was dropping like 25, even though they went like still under 500, but he was very efficient and scoring really well. Like I could see that coming off the start of the season, and then he rides that type of high into the all-star break, whether he drops off or not. So I could see that. I still think it's a little unlikely, but that would be, I think if we were to refine Mikey's very hot take of Knicks 3 all-stars, go with Bridges over Randall, which could theoretically, I would say that's closer to happening than 3. That would happen. That's a better likelihood of happening than 3 Knicks all-stars.
Yeah. I find it really hard to predict this because I don't know what the offensive roles for Bridges and Randall will look like on day one. And I
don't know either.
When the Knicks bring in these guys, especially with DiVincenzo last year, I don't think they just roll out the red carpet on game one for these guys to just take a ton of shots. And I think it's going to take some time for Mikal to assert himself. If he wants to assert himself ahead of Randall in the pecking order offensively, he's not going to do that on game one of the season. Or maybe he will, but I don't think it's going to happen on game one of the season.
I don't think he is either because I think it would best serve Mikal to play off of Randall, and then ease his way into more on-ball stuff versus going straight into on-ball type of playmaking and that type of stuff. Because Mikal has been one of the best corner three-point shooters in the league, and the Knicks have been very good since adding Brunson and Randall to generating corner three-point assists. So I think that's probably the better way to ease him into the role. So you'll probably see that.
Yeah.
Then go from there. So, but Mikal should be getting the cleanest looks from 3 he's probably ever had since that Phoenix
Phoenix team. Yeah. So
it should be very easy for him. So he should be able to put up the numbers. So I'd go from there. Franklin Chubb has not extending Randall before the season would be an act of madness. Even if he flames out in the playoffs, he can't be replaced. And then that's the main take. And then we have some sub takes in response to that take. First one is from Jax365. Randall can be replaced. He can be recreated in the aggregate. And then Chris P has, funnily enough, Chris, you should know better. I think it's just funny enough, not funnily enough. Funny enough, I genuinely do believe that we can recreate Hartenstein in the aggregate, where Mikal gets OG's job, OG gets Ihart's defensive job, and Randall gets Hartenstein's offensive job. So there's a lot of moving parts.
A lot going on here. Yeah,
there's a lot going on. So I think we can discuss this in a more aggregate roles of offense and how people are going to be replaced. I don't think it's madness. I don't know if it's a hot take saying it's madness. I think it's more maybe a tepid take saying it's madness. I don't think it's necessarily madness that Randall's not re-signed, because we don't know where he's going to fit in all of this yet.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of question marks we'd probably still have to see kind of like going on in the offense. And now that brings us to the offense. I don't know if Randall could be replaced in the aggregate. So I kind of think Jax is kind of hot. I tend to go closer with Chris's take, which isn't hot, because I think it's kind of what it's going to be. I do think Hartenstein is going to be recreated in the aggregate. I think that's what they're ultimately going to look for, especially on offense, because I think Randall's going to be more of a passing hub, like Hartenstein was. I think that makes more sense, just given who's on offense and who the team currently has. I think that probably works. I don't know how you recreate Randall on the aggregate.
I don't think you can recreate Randall in the aggregate either, but I do get, like, I like the idea of Randall replacing Hartenstein as like the roll man, short roll passer, guy who you can like create offense from the middle of the floor with. Mm-hmm. I like that, and like the rebounder and the help defender and all that stuff. I don't know, like Randall's certainly absolutely capable of doing that, and we've seen him do it before. We've seen him do it in spurts, but like I don't know if he's willing to buy into like such a dirty work down low roll that's not as flashy as like the step back three, pull up three, get in your bag, post ISO Randall that we've seen for so long. Can he do it? Sure. Will he do it? I really don't know. I like the whole like Mikal, like last year kind of OG kind of had to guard like the best opponent every single time, the best opponent no matter what scorer all the time. I don't think he'll be doing that anymore. I believe that Mikal will be. I think Mikal is the better suited defender to kind of hang out on the perimeter with a real scorer like that, and he will be doing that. I like OG as a help defender down low, kind of helping around the rim and helping down low with bigs and other fours. So I do like that part. And I think that's more likely to happen. I don't think there's like a political reason why they wouldn't want to do that. No, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes, I would agree.
But let me go back to like the beginning of this take. Like not extending Randall before the season would be an act of madness part. I don't think it's that mad. I think it's totally understandable to not extend him now and be like, hey, let's see this group. Let's give you this season. And if it works out, we'll pay you in free agency. And if it doesn't work out, we're moving you in February. Like that's kind of, I think that's where we're headed right now. Like
they probably extend him by now. We'll see how that take ages, right? Because I would think he would be we would be hearing more. I think there'd be more stuff going on. Like there is a deadline, right? Isn't that correct?
No. So he's actually not eligible to be extended until Saturday, which is tomorrow.
Okay, that's what I mean. So, like,
but the thing
anything, go ahead.
There's a weird thing. So the trade deadline in February is like February. I should look it up, but it's a day in early February. It's like the 10th or the 9th or something like that. Mm-hmm. And if Randall, like August is 6 months away from February. So if Randall were to sign his extension tonight or tomorrow, he's not going to, but he would have a 6-month period of not being eligible for trade.
To be traded, yes.
So if you're Randall, what you want to do is wait until 6 months before the trade deadline is passed. So then the 6-month thing expires after the trade deadline, which would basically make you ineligible for trade this entire season. And like, that's what Randall will like to do. That's what his camp would like to do. You lock up the security of, you'll be in New York for the entire season. So I can't see him signing until we're like 6 months plus away from the trade deadline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. I know like Saturday when he becomes eligible, which is, we're recording this on Friday, he'll be eligible tomorrow. That's not like 6 months from Saturday is before the trade deadline. So there would actually be a window of time for us to move him before the deadline. So I don't think he's going to sign this Saturday. I don't think he's going to sign Sunday, but he might. Hey, if there's a number that the Knicks and Randall like, and it places him like after the trade deadline, where he wouldn't be traded the entire season, then sure, that might happen. But I don't think that number exists. Like I think Randall values himself higher, and I think the Knicks are trying to get an efficient extension to keep themselves under the second apron and have a little bit of breathing room under the second apron to like fill out the rest of their roster in future seasons. And I'd be very, very shocked if they come to terms on an extension.
Yeah, because it's an interesting dilemma that the Knicks are in, because Randall actually isn't easily replaceable, right? Like, so there's that element of it. at the same time, there is part of it that also they may need to upgrade that second type of person to pair with Brunson. So it's the Knicks are in a very tricky place because there are very few players who are better than Randall, and you don't also want to trade him for someone who's not as good. And then like I think they're in a tricky spot, and it's a lot of it will be on Randall and how he plays this season and how he performs in the postseason, right? Because that's what it's mainly going to come down to is did he finally kind of like understand his role? I think watching last year, especially after like the OG trade, we're all just kind of like, oh, we got him, right? Like he's kind of figured it out. Unfortunately, he got injured, so we couldn't see if that would have translated into the playoffs, which really is unfortunate because that's what all of this really hinges on is which Randall is showing up in the playoffs because he did not show up in the 2 playoffs he was in. It's unfortunate, but like he didn't. The regular season, he's been there, so I don't even know where you go from that either, right? Like, how do you actually replace him? Who do you replace him with? Because like I don't know what the moves are. Because I know when in our Discord, for example, a lot of times like Laura Markkinen pops up, which could be a very good replacement, but he's not an on-ball type of person that Randall can be. So
I also don't think he's available. He's not available. I like don't think he's a possibility for us.
We could even just be like whether he's available or not. I do think it's a different discussion because I think we could just like no, he's not. We could just move on. But like that would be someone like whose name is brought up where there's similar like rebounding stats and the shooting is there. But then you're also putting more pressure on Brunson to create, or you're putting more pressure on Mikal to create. And like, is that creation actually there? I don't know. So it's interesting. I do think the safest bet what the Knicks should do is really try to re-sign him to like a deal like lower than they actually want, than what he wants. Like try to actually use him as a way to get like a value contract again. And then if he actually turns out to be like all NBA again and actually performs in the playoffs, he outperforms the value of his contract. And the Knicks are very, very much set up for success moving forward. But yeah, I don't know if it's, I wouldn't say it's madness. So I would say it's a hot take that it's madness. But I can go from there. I do think Chris is onto something though with replacing Hartenstein on the aggregate. I don't think he can replace Randall on the aggregate. Because who is the other type of player who's going to be that inside threat that generates gravity on the outside, like on the perimeter? Because that's what Randall's gravity is. Because he's so forceful inside. It's like Giannis, Jokic.
That's it. It's like those guys.
There's probably more people that were not Embiid, but not really, right? So it's like, okay, so it's MVP guys, and that's not happening. I guess Anthony Davis would actually work as well, but again,
my golden goose.
Again, that's probably also not happening. So like the guys you would actually want to replace him are truly not available and would not work without setting significant stuff out. So, but no, the Hartenstein thing is definitely going to happen. I really do think Chris is on to something where the perimeter responsibilities shift more to Mikal. OG shifts to basically like whoever the best player ultimately is. And if that happens to not be a wing guy, that's fine. He can play help stuff. He showed some rebounding chops, which was great. And then you go from there. I think that's what they're going to do. And I really do hope Tibbs finally decides to go like Randall at the 5. Or
please, okay, I'm begging.
Right, because I know there's been some discussions like, well, it's not actually Randall at the 5, it'd be OG at the 5. And it's like, yeah, we get it.
Fine, yeah, I know. If you can be a nerd and like call like, oh, defensively, OG's the 5, actually.
Fine,
like,
whatever. The whole point is I just hope the lineup is Brunson, DiVincenzo, Mikal, OG, Randall. Hopefully that's the lineup that they start to close with and play with. And theoretically, that is a great lineup, right? Like everything should fit. But we'll see. Mikey again has a take. The Knicks will win 60-plus games. Will be the number 1 seed in the East. Oh, Mikey, hot take. I love it though. I don't
even think it's that hot. I don't think it's that hot.
You don't think it's that hot?
If they're healthy, like why not? Like what's stopping them if they're healthy?
I think winning 60 games is just very difficult in the NBA.
It is, but I don't know. I think that they're more talented than a lot of these teams. And
they are very talented.
With the Tibbs like marginal regular season success thing where they just like get every drop out of guys in this regular season where they just work harder than every team, I think it's very possible. I don't think it's that hot. So
I think it's hot. However, I'm kind of with, it's like, it's not inconceivable. I just think the idea of always anytime someone's predicting a 60-win team, a 60-win team for any season, I do think isn't inherently a hot take, because it is very difficult to do.
I think the number 1 seed is like more likely than the 60 number. Like they could get the number 1 seed at 58 wins, or like 57.
Yeah, I think the number 1 seed's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah,
like it's going to be like the Celtics are obviously going to be competitive. The Sixers did get better with Paul George. They're going to probably perform in the regular season like they did again. So like the top of the East is very difficult.
Yeah.
So
like the Bucks are still there, by the way. The Bucks are still
right. And then there's the Bucks, and then of course like the middling teams, like the recently Eastern Conference finalists, Indiana Pacers. They're going to be annoying. They're still going to win games, right? Like the East is very tough. So I could definitely see, like you said, 55, 58, 57 win top seed, I think, instead of a 60 win team. So that's definitely a possibility. And we are going to end the free version on G-Bake's take of streaming has made the Olympics significantly better and more entertaining. That is a cold take, because that's just
really,
yes,
it's true. Yeah, it's true. It's just true.
It's just true, right? That's why I think it's a cold take.
Yeah.
It's
just
true.
Right. You're right. Yeah,
there is an elitist element to the fact that like NBC's putting it behind Peacock, right? So I get that. However, being able to watch replays now for the Olympics is a game changer, right? Because like I know for me, like if I'm in the office and I'm unfortunately like getting like some work done and I don't have time to like throw on a stream on like my other monitor because I'm doing something, and like, oh shit, I missed Simone, right? Say something like that. I can just log in the Peacock right now, go to gymnastics, watch the replay, and watch Simone win gold. And I didn't have to watch it live. Like the Olympics becoming not necessarily appointment viewing. Like it's still appointment in the sense like if you can watch it live, obviously watch it live. But being able to now rewatch things, I think is a game changer, because you were never able to do that before.
Yeah, I also like, for hoop heads like us, there are certain games that like don't involve the U.S. or they're not like a flashy game. Like the other day, I think it was France versus Japan. Was a men's basketball game.
Yes.
It wasn't on like NBC. Like it was not on the flagship channel. But if you had Peacock, you can like go to that stream directly and just watch that game without watching anything else. And I did that. And like a lot of these, like you have a lot of optionality and a lot of choice on Peacock. You can watch the Gold Zone broadcast. You can watch whatever the NBC broadcast is. You can watch specific events on their broadcast and all that stuff. You could even do like the multi-box thing with this, which is pretty cool. So all of that like functionality and all the stuff that you can pick from is amazing. And it's great. And you know what? I'm really, really excited for the NBA and NBC, because I think it won't be too different. Like I think they're going to have a lot of that optionality. I think they're going to have a lot of that choice, a lot of different like setups and all that stuff. And I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, I think it's been great, because before I would not be able to be like, oh, I'm going to check out kayaking.
Yeah.
Right. Because like it would just be like back at the olden days, you're flipping through your remote on your channel, going through the NBC affiliates, seeing what's on, and you're like, I don't feel like watching this on CNBC or MSNBC.
Yeah.
And then now you're just kind of like, you see something online, you're like, oh, this kayaking thing has been insane. All right, just go on the Peacock, find the kayaking thing you do and watch it. Like I watched the like the women's goal, like the women's final for kayak, like was canoe slalom or something like that.
I don't even know.
Right. I think that's what it's called. And I would never watch that live. I would never have tuned into it. But because it was available on Peacock, turn it on. And it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. There's just rapids everywhere. And these women are just doing these crazy turns, flying under shit. Like, it was just awesome. You're not doing that back in the old days of what it used to be, right? It would just be like whatever the channel wants to put on. And that's it. And if you miss it, you miss it. You can't watch it again. Hopefully you'll get highlights on SportsCenter. We don't have to do that anymore. So the Olympics turning to streaming has been great. I think it's been great.
I have two. The streaming part, great, but I have two complaints about the Olympics this year that are similar umbrella.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm ready.
Okay. The first one is like they are over policing the hell out of Twitter and like people who post Olympic clips on Twitter. Like,
okay,
anybody who's posting it and you're not like sharing from the NBC account, you're getting
Uh-huh.
clapped. Like you're getting taken down. That video's getting taken down, and like I just don't understand that. Like that's such an old school way of doing this. I feel like the leagues used to always take down stuff, but now like the leagues are like, hey, you know what? This is just free marketing for us. Like, why are we policing people clipping our broadcast? That's just like I don't know. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? Please don't do that for the NBA. Like when they pull up. The other
Well,
thing is,
we'll see how that
right,
ends
yeah,
up.
we'll see.
I'm with you though. It makes.
It's
I
weird.
think it makes no sense.
Yeah. The other thing is the Olympics app is not good. It's not a good app. It's not well designed. It's really, really hard
What do you mean the Olympics app?
there's an official Olympics app where you can like go to see all the events. You can go see all the scores. You can see like the medal count and all that stuff,
Okay.
like all the Olympic information. And like that's the only place that ESPN has some of them now too, but that's pretty much the main spot to go check the box score for whatever basketball game you're watching. And just the way the box scores are presented are just really, really hard to read. They're really, really cumbersome to navigate. The app is super, super slow with loading times, and it's just not well thought out. It's not well designed, and it's hard to see your favorite events. It's hard to know what time they're at. It's hard to know like the broadcast information, and it's just after seeing other great sports apps, this is not one of them. So that's it.
I don't know whether that's hot or not, but
I don't think it is. I tweeted about it, and everybody was like, "Yep, you're right." So
I can't judge that. But
yeah.
that's where the free preview is going to end. Again, you want to listen to the full show, hear all the takes, hear all the comments, patreon.com/the Strickland, $6 tier, make it happen. We will see you on the other side.